It is the day after Susan Bentley's funeral. James and Penny have moved in with Sandy, while Debbie, Carrie and Richard are back with the Sims household.
Maria, you have one final chance to advance to the next level. If you miss this question, your time here will end. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here is your question. Where did the Hindenburg disaster take place?
At Lake Hayhurst, New Jersey.
That is correct. You are now at level 3.
Enough of this. Honey, could we please go out and do something? I think we have recovered enough for that.
So where do you want to go?
We haven't been in the Tuscany Tavern since you came back, and yet so many of our memories were made there. We should go there again.
All right.
Penny. Bella. First my mother and now your grandmother. It seems this year has been a curse for both of us. At least we are both alive and well. So, how is your baby? I'm now 3 months along. All seems to be going well with the pregnancy. I can only hope in a couple of years James and I will have a baby of our own. I love taking care of children so much that I think it will certainly be my job in the future. So when are you and James leaving for Boston? Next week.
Whitney? Sorry if Penny and I are intruding. She and I just came here to remember our past.
Oh, that's okay. Have you met my new love partner, Charlie Wilson?
Not really. But I know of him.
He means he resents me because of who my cousin is. But I can assure you, James, that I am nothing like Ted. I disowned him right after he almost killed Carrie back in high school. And he hates me for being transgender.
If you say so. I will leave you two alone for now. I'm sorry, Penny, but it just felt too awkward being in there with Whitney and Charlie. We should go elsewhere.
I agree. One moment. Carrie, what are you and Debbie doing tonight?
Not much. We are at the Sims' place caring for Richard, but Debbie just put him down for the night.
James and I have been bored out of our minds tonight. May we join you?
One moment. Do you want James and Penny to come here? Sure, it's about time we all bonded as couples.
Do you ever miss the days in which we were kids and our biggest worries were getting better grades in school and putting up with bullies?
Sometimes. But every time I look at my son, I am so happy to have him. I could never go back to when I was not his mother. That, and being Carrie's wife, define my life now.
Penny has been suffering from baby fever for a while. I thought her being made to take care of Richard would cool her enthusiasm for motherhood, but it seems to have had the opposite effect. And now that her grandmother is dead, she is desperate to get pregnant. But I have 3 more years to go at Harvard, and I want us to wait until I have started my career as a scientist.
That's the smart thing to do. You and Penny are both only 18. Surely you can wait 4 or 5 years, right?
My grandmother was only 19 when she had my father, and then 21 when she had my Uncle Wayne. I always thought I'd also have children that young too. And knowing that my best friend Bella is having a baby makes me want one too. I know I shouldn't be rushing into motherhood, but I feel like I need it. Am I going mad?
That's just something you have to work out with James. Up in Boston you could spend lots of time caring for my cousin Helen, just like you cared for Richard. If you were always taking care of others' kids, that might fill the void in your heart, making you want a baby of your own.
I know. That's my hope too.
Are you sure you want to end this? What did I do wrong?
Nothing, Larry. It's not about anything you did. It's just that you and I are simply not right as a couple. I knew that even when you were my student in high school. I did say we could be lovers someday once you were an adult, but I only said that to make you feel better. And then a few years later you contacted me via a dating site and said you still wanted me, so I gave in. But now I have finally made my choice between my teaching career and you. And I've chosen my career. I'm not making the same mistake Mary Kayla Tournell made in insisting on being with a current student of hers and destroying her first marriage and her reputation forever. She was an idiot. I am not. That's enough, Larry. Leave, now. So, are you satisfied now?
Yes! You should have known better than to be with my nephew at all, but at least I am glad you ended it properly. And now I won't be in the awkward position of having to fire you. Now let's go.
Mayor Sandy Smith and Police Chief Theodore Root have agreed to hire more officers for the town's police force. Unassigned to train the newcomers and evaluate their fitness to serve as officers is Kelly Grimm.
Welcome to our police station. Now that you are all here, we will begin. It must always be remembered that as cops, our job is to enforce the law as it is. We don't make laws, nor do we have the option to ignore laws. It is also not our job to punish any criminal suspects before they are brought to trial. You have probably heard many stories of police officers shooting and killing people in the streets. Let me assure you that every such incident is a failure of an officer to have done their job. You can use a gun in self-defense to disable a target, but never with intent to kill. And cutting off a suspect's air supply is also unacceptable. So why are there so many stories in the media of cops killing suspects? Because of the bad cops out there. There was an incident a couple of years ago in this very town of 2 cops, including the police chief, who actually tried to burn down a restaurant because of who owned it. Those cops were arrested and then all but one of the remaining cops were fired in a purge so the police force could be rebuilt from the ground up. And that leads to our present situation. I hope all of you prove to be more worthy of service than a lot of those that have come before. Okay, I have turned in my badge and uniform.
Carrie, we are grateful for your service, but I do understand that you need to go now. Good luck with your future endeavors.
Mrs. Sterling, it appears your pregnancy is progressing smoothly. Your due date is in 6 months, and I can set aside a date for you to have your labor induced if you want.
Thank you. I will discuss that with Eric tonight.
So how are things going with Charlie?
Quite well. He totally respects me and we don't argue about trivial things. Like my first boyfriend and I would do back when I was still a Baptist.
I'm actually thinking of resigning as a science teacher before the end of summer. I love teaching, but I was kind of forced into being a hospital administrator by my father, who was owner before me. Holding down 2 jobs is becoming increasingly difficult.
Do what you must. Excuse me. Whitney, I remember at one point that you were trying to build a new house with your money. Are you still doing that? No, that got put on hold because of the disaster that hit the town. So you are still in that tiny apartment of yours? Why not move in with me? Debbie and Carrie have just moved to Dallas with Richard, and also James and Penny have left too. I'm now alone in this house. Ah, so you now have empty nest syndrome. I get it. Sure, I can move in with you as your new roommate.
Meanwhile, Bella's brother Sean Flowers is alone in the town's park.
Hi there, I'm Rose. What's your name?
My name is Sean.
You seem really depressed. What's wrong?
It's my mother. She died in the disaster which hit our town a couple of months ago.
I am so sorry. So your mother was Deborah Flowers. I read about her on the internet. May I hug you? What would you like me to do for you? Do you have a girlfriend? If not, do you want one?
But you only just met me. Why make such an offer to a stranger?
I know you are in pain because you lost someone precious to you, so I want to help. The truth is, I am a sex worker. I would normally charge for my services, but in your case I can offer myself for free, just this once.
You should know I am still a virgin. I am only 18 and something of a nerd.
All the more reason to offer myself to you. I understand if you don't trust me, but I just thought I'd ask. Do you want me to leave?
No. Please stay.
Would you like to come to my apartment?
Okay. I'd be lying if I said I was in love with you, but this does feel like making love, doesn't it?
Sure, you may call it whatever you like. So if you are ready, let's go to bed.
So tell me about your group and why you want me to join it.
We are the Mummies and we play punk rock music. I am the lead guitarist and we need a lead singer. Since you left the Hudson Family Band, we've decided you could help us to get a record deal. You are certainly one of the best singers we have ever heard.
Okay, let's set your band up for an audition.
Together forever and ever to win. Together forever and live without sin.
They do have talent, but do you really want to wear bandages on your face while singing? No, I can't see without these special glasses. And I won't cut off my hair. So I will pass. Yeah. You are too beautiful as a solo artist already. I'm sorry, but I will decline the offer. I think our musical directions are too different. But I think my brother Tommy might want to sing for you instead, so I will ask him.
Thanks. We will wait to hear from him. In July of 2029, Debbie, Carrie and their son Richard moved from the town Debbie had grown up in to Dallas to live with Richard's two fathers, Michael Jefferson and Charles McKenzie, and Charles Nisanica.
Thank you for inviting us to live here in Dallas with you. I served as a cop in my town for over a year, but most of that time was boring. About all I did was ride around the town in my police car and write traffic tickets. The only time I felt useful was when the town was hit by that disaster and later when our UU church was bombed.
Well, I think you will see plenty of action here in Dallas. In a big city like this, violent crime is a problem, including hate crimes. That's why I decided to found my own private investigative agency, Queer Avengers. And after hearing from Debbie about you and how you beat the crap out of Ted Wilson, despite him being a cop at the time as well as being twice your size, I decided you would be a great partner for me. So welcome aboard.
Thank you. So do we have any cases to deal with now?
Yes! I will be interviewing a gay teen who was beaten up yesterday. Let's go see him now. So, Henry, tell us what happened to you.
I came out as gay about 6 months ago. My best friend since I was in first grade was Simon. But Simon has a big brother named Pete. Pete always disliked me and after learning I was gay, he accused me of trying to recruit Simon in the gay lifestyle. He then got in my face and told me to stay away from Simon. I told him that my dealings with Simon were none of Pete's business, and he said, he's my brother, so it is my business. And before I could even explain to Pete that I knew Simon wasn't gay and that I had no romantic interest in him anyway, Pete did this to me, with a baseball bat.
Wow. I remember when I myself was attacked with a baseball bat when I was your age.
So you got bashed for being lesbian?
No, but violence is violence and hate is hate. We need to put a stop to this abuse.
Now that we have Simon's and Pete's address, we will confront them about what happened.
You think Pete will talk to us?
Oh, trust me, we won't be doing much talking.
Who are you?
I am Charles of the Queer Avengers and my partner is Carrie. We just spoke with Henry about what Pete did to him.
Henry is out of the hospital already? Good. I want to see him and apologize for what Pete did.
Henry deserves more than an apology. Where is your brother now?
He's working at the local grocery store, but he gets off work in about an hour. I will give you the location. And good luck. Pete bullies me too. The sooner his ass gets kicked, the better.
Well, this is going to be fun.
Simon said Pete gets off at about this time.
I think that's him coming out now.
Pete, yesterday you beat up a gay teen, Henry, and put him in hospital. And now you will pay for that.
And together, Charles and Carrie overpower Pete and humiliate him in public. Sandy Smith receives a letter from her brother Samuel. Sandy, we are planning a family reunion in Oklahoma City next month, and as the head of the extended family since Mother's death, I have decided it is time you were reconciled to the rest of the Green family. So this is your formal invitation to the event. I hope you will attend. And no, my daughter Rebecca will not be invited, so don't worry about her. I hope you, Debbie, and James will all come soon.
I wonder if I should even bother. Whitney, if you were invited to an Owen family reunion, would you go? No, I'm not speaking to any of them now after what my brother did to you, but it seems your brother is extending a long overdue olive branch. Maybe after all these years, you should take it and try to forgive the others among your relatives. Robot, answer the door.
As you command.
Aunt Sandy, are you coming to the Green family reunion? You should know that I was the one who persuaded Grandfather to invite you.
You did? Why, thank you. I will ask both Debbie and James if they want to come too. Sure, if Carrie and I can go together. We will leave Richard with his fathers in Dallas and travel to Oklahoma City and meet up with you there.
No way. Penny and I are just getting used to living together in Boston, and having her go on another trip so soon would be too much. And I won't go without her. She is totally focused on babysitting Helen and being a housewife here. She really enjoys it, more than I thought she would.
Okay, take care.
Laura, are you sure about this?
Yes. Suzanne and I have been talking about having a baby, and she recommended you to be the sperm donor, because you are her brother, and so Suzanne and I would both have a connection to the baby before they are born. And no, we wouldn't charge you child support.
We wouldn't ask you to help us if we didn't trust you, Tommy, but we can agree to keep your hooking up with Laura a secret from your current love partner.
Then I will indeed donate my sperm to you. But as their uncle, I do want to be involved in the baby's life.
Thank you. So how do you want us to proceed?
I've never done anything like this before, so I will just follow you into the bedroom and do as you tell me. And for the record, you will be the first woman I've ever done the deed with.
And you would be the first male for me. Don't worry. I will be gentle with you.
Sandy has come by Dallas to join up with Debbie, Carrie and Arlene Green, and together the four proceed to Oklahoma City to attend the Green family reunion. They take a passenger train for this trip.
I guess I will never really understand how it feels to be rejected by your family. My mother's and my grandmother Kelly were all atheists, and so I was raised as one. I am actually glad you never endured such pain. But your mother Lucy did. You can empathize with her as well as with me and learn what you can from our past. I would also hope you never reject Richard, no matter what he decides to believe as an adult. I certainly wouldn't. I remember you mentioning the possibility of me becoming Mormon. And then I find out I am descended from Joseph Smith, the Mormon founder. It made me sick. Like, how did you know? It was just a coincidence. Anyway, I am proud of how you turned out. You know what my biggest fear always was?
What?
That you'd turn out like your cousin Rebecca. She was raised in a Christian family and turned out evil. That's even worse than you being a Mormon, really. If you say so.
Are you forgetting that Rebecca is my mother? If anyone should feel ashamed of her ancestry, it is me. I have had repeated suicidal thoughts because of knowing how terrible she is. I only exist because as a teen she couldn't stop spreading her legs with boys.
Arlene, as a suicide survivor, I've had to build up my self-esteem regardless of any circumstances I may have come from. Plus, I can tell you about my sister Vicky and how she was raised by a sexually abusive mother before she was adopted by the Sims family. So we all have curses to overcome. May I hug you?
Okay. I don't know why I keep having these nightmares about my birth mother. I haven't seen her since I was 7 and she is still in prison. I'm now 15. What the hell is wrong with me?
Sexual abuse is not something you can just shrug off and walk away from. It damages victims down to their very souls. So your fears and pain are understandable. But the best thing you can do is reach out to help others who are suffering. Your trauma can give you empathy for the pain of others. You can fight for the rights and dignity of everyone else, as defined in the first principle of Unitarian Universalism.
I understand. That's why I want to be a UU minister. To help others.
You don't have to wait until you are ordained to help others. I know someone who you can help right now. Her name is Hermine.
Hermine? You mean the blind girl who occasionally is brought to church by her mother? What could I possibly do for her? I've never been blind, so I would have no idea what a blind person needs.
I know one thing she needs that she doesn't have now, a friend. You can learn from her about what she needs besides friendship. If you want to be of service to another, now is as good a time as any to start. Give Hermine a chance to learn from you too. I think you both will be enriched by the experience.
I hope you don't mind my coming to visit you. I've seen you at church only a few times, but I want to get to know you. I don't mind at all. I am happy to finally have a friend after being alone for so long. It is so depressing to feel left out because I am blind and so I cannot play with others my age. May I hug you? Sure. Have you always been blind? If so, I'm guessing you have no idea what colors are, and so words for colors like red, green, and white would have no meaning to you. I actually lost my vision when I was 5 when I was stabbed in the eyes by my father after I spilled a glass of wine he was about to drink from. He was drunk every day and said he would punish me for making a mess on the floor, but I just wanted him to stop. Wow. My mother Jessica was once the victim of abuse by an alcoholic when she was still a teen. So what happened to your father? He is now in prison and is permanently banned from ever seeing me again. Oh my God. It seems the two of us have quite a bit in common. What do you mean? It's a long story and perhaps when I am ready I will tell you about it. For now, can you teach me how to read Braille?
Vicky Sims has invited her love partner, Paul Jenkins, to meet Hermine Dawson, her new friend, at their UU church.
Paul and I have been dating for almost 2 years. My mother Jessica and his Aunt Carla brought us together and we have been incredibly tight ever since.
I'm glad to get to know you, Hermine. I'm sorry I never noticed you before. But I guess it's because I have eyes only for Vicky, so to speak.
It's okay, Vicky must be incredibly beautiful for you to be so loyal to her. If you don't mind, Vicky.
Yes, I feel so lucky to have her in my life. Before her, few people ever noticed me. But she did, and she made a difference for me.
And now Paul and I together can do the same for you. Wow, are you always this nice to people, or am I a special case because I am blind? Why should it be one or the other? You are special, Hermine. And you'd be so even if you could see like the rest of us. I'm sure my mother didn't mean to insult you because of your mother. My own father brought shame to me because he cheated on my mother and caused their divorce. It took years to get past that. I understand. You and your mother and wife are all amazing people. You all belong at the family reunion, so that's why I fought for you.
Thank you for that.
Hello, Cousin Debbie. We meet at last. I am Scott Green. As you know, I became an atheist because of your mother's example. I heard bad things about her from my own grandmother, but that made me curious, and I started asking questions. And I only got answers to those questions that made sense once I stopped assuming that my religion was true.
Have you also been cast out like my mother was?
Nope, that kind of shunning doesn't happen anymore. I think most of us in the Green family have gotten better. And I really don't talk about religion with my parents anyway.
If you and Debbie are hungry, let's all eat together. The meals are on me.
Warning, contains references to violence and death.
Thanks for inviting us. This is indeed a welcome change from being banned from attending family events after I married Rich.
Well, that was mainly our mother's doing. I never agreed with you being banished, and so after she died I began to feel like we needed you restored as one of us. Ironically, learning you were cast out only made many of my kids, nieces and nephews curious about you. And some of them concluded that our mother was being unloving and hardly a good Christian.
Who could that be? I will take this outside. Debbie, what's wrong? Why did you want to talk to me so suddenly? You look terrified. I just got a call from the Dallas Police Department. I spoke with a homicide detective. Michael and Charles are both dead. Oh, no. What happened? A guy with an assault rifle broke into their house and shot both of them. Annika, Charles' niece, grabbed Richard and kept him in her bedroom, and that's where they were found by the cops later, after she called 911 on a cell phone to ask for help. The shooter was also dead, of a self-inflicted gunshot to the head. Do they know who the killer was? He was identified as Pete Jensen. The police later found he had also killed his brother Simon before he went to Charles and Michael's house. Oh my God. Charles and I went to confront Pete after he beat up a gay teen named Henry, and even Pete's brother Simon encouraged us to go after him. We thought beating Pete up in public would stop his gay bashing. Instead, he does this? I feel like a fucking failure now. You did nothing wrong, Carrie. This is all the result of a society that tolerates toxic masculinity, that allows for gay bashing and celebrates gun ownership over the right of others to live in peace. But Charles was himself a gun owner. He kept a loaded pistol in his bedroom. But I guess even that wasn't enough. A pistol isn't a match for a bigger gun that can spit out a dozen bullets in one shooting. And considering that Pete was working at a grocery store, how could he have gotten such a weapon? I'd think it would cost at least $100,000. So, are we going to tell Mother Sandy about this? And ruin her experience at the family reunion? Hell no. I'm only telling you so we can deal with this mess right away upon our return to Dallas.
What are you doing here? You were not invited to our event, and haven't you caused enough trouble already?
You banned me, your own daughter, from the reunion, but you invite Aunt Sandy and Cousin Debbie. Thanks for the insult. You should have seen when Aunt Sandy broke Diana Callie's nose in public.
Yes, she told me about that. You are always doing the dumbest things and associating with the wrong crowd. That's why you were cast out. And you deserved it. Sandy didn't.
So this is the thanks I get after I give you 4 grandchildren. Plus 1 more on the way.
Enough.
I just saw my mother outside with grandfather. He'd better not let her in. I'm still bitter about seeing her and Diana Callie at your ex-husband's wedding.
I'm sure he can handle her. Oh, here comes your grandmother, Leslie. Sandy, Arlene. Welcome. You have become quite a celebrity among us, haven't you? You becoming mayor of your town, and then all those videos on YouTube of your family and friends. It's all about fighting for the rights and dignity of us as people. I understand. I think the disastrous experience we had with Diana Callie finally woke us up to how shallow our values were. It's not enough to look good. We have to be good. I'm not saying you are right to be an atheist, but most of us certainly see now that judging you and your children for being true to yourselves is pointless. Perhaps, but it seems a lot of our relatives still avoid me. That's their choice. You are here and that's what matters. You are one of us.
With the Green family reunion now over, Sandy, Debbie, Carrie, and Arlene now return to Dallas.
Debbie, what's wrong? You have seemed awfully quiet since yesterday. I guess I can tell you now that the event is over. I got a call from the Dallas Police Department. Michael and Charles, Richard's two fathers, were gunned down this past weekend. They were both killed for being gay, and the police later found Richard and Annika hidden away. Annika saved our son. Oh my God. Come here. It looks like Carrie, Richard and I may be returning to the town once more. Will you take us back? Of course. You and Carrie never had to leave, though I do understand that you wanted to spread your wings and be independent. But I am your mother and Richard is my grandson. I am always glad to help you. Speaking of which, I spent more than an hour on the phone venting to my mother Lucy last night. It seems all this crap keeps happening to us. First, Debbie's father is gunned down in a mass shooting, along with his fiancée and her 5 kids. Now we have lost both of Richard's gay fathers. There is so much hate in the world, so much violence, so much pain. And we can't seem to stop it.
I know. It's always been that way for as long as people have existed. All we can do is help the victims of violence and hate heal from their pain. Speaking of which, Vicky has befriended a blind girl at her church, Hermine. She is actually sleeping over with us now. She and Vicky have opened up to each other about their past abusers. The 4 of us had a long talk about those things. I actually think Vicky's dealing with Hermine is making things better for both of them. Vicky says she is no longer haunted by the memories of what her birth mother did to her. Vicky is not disabled like Hermine. And they are learning from each other.
I sometimes wonder what my life would have been like if I had never met Debbie. She completes me like no one else ever could. When one of us suffers, we support each other.
I see how beautiful you are together, and that makes me realize that if there is a God, He would never reject your love. And if there is no God, your love more than makes up for His absence. And that is why I admire you all.
So what will happen to Annika? She is Charles' niece, right? Charles actually wrote a will and testament shortly after he and Michael got custody of her. According to it, as Annika's aunts, Carrie and I will have custody of Annika if something happens to both Charles and Michael. Charles told me that being a target of a hate crime, even murder, is always something he knew might happen to him. It seems like a strange coincidence that the killer who shot Charles and Michael attacked them while Carrie and I were gone. Otherwise, all 4 of us might have been killed. And so Richard would now be an orphan.
Several hours later, Debbie and Carrie arrive at the police station in Dallas to reunite with their son.
Richard and Annika, Mother Carrie and I are here.
Mama Debbie, Mama Carrie, take us home.
First my mama dies, now Uncles Charles and Michael. What will happen to me now?
Annika, I promise, we will do our best to keep you safe. Come with us, we will give you a new home.